Hi, this is Bill Punch with another video in the continuing series of videos on an introduction to C++. Today we're going to talk about if statements. Let's go ahead and get started. So this example is not particularly interesting from includes or anything like that. IOStream, cout, endl, cin, that's great. Comment at the top. We declare some variables at the top. We give them some interesting names, and so 0 has the name 0, 1, 2, 3. A long is uninitialized, pi has 3.14159, and a double is uninitialized. Here is the basic form of an if statement in C++. If is the keyword. In parentheses is a Boolean expression that evaluates to either true or false. And we should be very careful about what we mean by true and false. We know that, for example, in longs, 0 is false. Any other value represents true. So under the assumption that we know what true and false are, if the expression is true, then the single statement that follows is executed. If the expression is false, then this statement is skipped, right? In any event, we execute sequentially from the top, evaluate the expression, we do or we do not execute this particular statement that goes with the if, then we pick up and keep going. If we would like to do more than one statement when this expression is true, what we can do is create a block with beginning and end curly braces. When this expression is true, then the entire block is executed sequentially, right? If the expression is false, the entire block is skipped and we move on to the next statement. So if statements do one statement, if it's true, if we need to do more than that, we have to create a block. This is I almost said error, but error is not quite the right word. Here's a Boolean expression, if a long, and instead of using double equal for equality, I use an equal sign, equals 1 equals, so a long equals 1 plus 2. We have to ask ourselves some questions. Will that compile? And the answer is yes. Will it run? And the answer is yes. Right? Does it do what we expect? It depends. Did we actually intend to put an equal sign there, or did we intend to put a double equal sign there? Under the assumption that 1 has the value of 1 and 2 has the value of 2, and those don't change, this expression will do two things. Assignments do two things. The side effect is to place the value 3 in a long. What's the return value? Return value is the value of the expression on the right hand side, the r value, which is 3. Is 3 a true or a false value? It's true. So this expression is always going to be true, and it's going to be the situation that this block statement is always going to execute. That can be an error. Maybe we didn't mean to do it that way, and thankfully the compiler can help us a little. And the thing that's going to help us is minus capital W all getting warnings. When I compile this, it notes it. It says, look, warning, this is an equal sign in a Boolean expression. Did you really mean to do that? Did you really want to type a double equal for measuring equality? So even though it would compile and it would run, at least the warning would tell us something's going on and we could take a look at it. That's very, very helpful. An alternative to just a single if is the if-else. If is the keyword, else is the other keyword. They're coming up in colors. If this expression comes up true, we execute this statement. Otherwise, if this expression comes up false, we execute this statement. So one of these two expressions is going to evaluate, this one for true, this one for false. If, as before, when the expressions are evaluated and we need to do more than one thing, curly brackets for the if, curly brackets for the else. So if this expression is true, this block will be run. If the expression is false, this block will be run. Let me slide down here and show you a longer example. Here's an if structure from here to here. And we have 4 individual statements in this expression. We have an if and else if then is a combination of keywords. Here's an else if, a combination of keywords, and here's the else statement. And the situation is that in this structure, which runs from here to here, right, one of those statements is going to evaluate. Right? The first true expression will evaluate its statements. Every statement is blocked, so whichever expression comes up true first, that block will be executed, and then the rest of the statement will be skipped. One of these is going to run. If none of these expressions come up true, the else is going to run. So this expression, this entire if structure, is going to lead to exactly one execution of one piece, with the rest being skipped. One thing I want to point out is that else statements and if statements have a relationship that we have to understand. It's called the dangling else problem. And whatever the most recent if that occurs, the else goes with that statement. And despite the fact that we could indent it to make it clearer, right, no matter how you indent it, right, the most recent else goes with the most recent if. If you want to get around that problem, you can do what we did here. We have a nested if structure. Here's a block from here to here that would be executed if this was true. Right? When the block ends, that summarizes that piece. This else then goes with that if.